All right, guys, welcome to the live stream tonight. We're going to be talking about van weight and keeping it safe. So let me pull up a little slide here to get us on track. So I've got a couple of slides prepared tonight. Trying to keep it organized. It's a lot of stuff to talk about, but everything's related. So that's why I wanted to kind of keep it all together. So I'm just going to go through this, and then we'll just start picking it apart. And as usual, put all your comments, questions in the chat. It's okay if it has nothing to do with van weight. If it's van related, we're going to answer it during the live stream tonight. But yeah, van weight, something that I think gets missed sometimes. You get really excited. You buy all the stuff for your van, and you just start putting stuff on top of stuff. You're going to get your your bumpers. You're going to get your rear tire carrier because you upgraded the tire sizes. You wanted to put bed system, nice fridge, water tank, gray water tank. And then you got up to your roof rack. You got your roof rack on. You have solar panels, vent fans, and heck, you might even have a rooftop air conditioner unit. And so all of that significantly changes the dynamics of the vehicle. And that has to do with steering response, acceleration. If you guys are car guys or girls out there, you know what I'm talking about. But if you're into or you're new to van life or building a camper van, these things might not be top of mind. So this is what I'm going to do is walk you through things that are actually extremely important for your safety as far as getting on the road and making sure nothing happens, or at least preventing it as much as possible. So what we're going to talk about is a lot of technical words. You may not even know that they existed. And one is, what is my slideshow doing? Hold on. Oh, okay, that's why. There we go. So this over here, I need to get a pointer to use. You guys see my mouse? So this picture over here is the inside, is a sticker on the inside of your vehicle. It doesn't have to be a van. It can be any vehicle that you're driving. And this sticker has a ton of information you just may not even have known about. At the top of it, so what we're looking at is the sticker on the inside of the driver's side door on the van behind me. It's a Ford Transit 350, high roof 148. And the first thing at the top is your GVWR, or your gross vehicle weight rating. Now that is the maximum weight of the vehicle. You cannot exceed that with either occupants, cargo, and then we'll talk about how the trailer hitch plays into that as well. But that's your kind of no-go number. You don't want to be over that. And I've heard a lot of, I've seen articles. I've also seen YouTube videos of these motorhomes that are, when somebody buys a motorhome, the manufacturer has gotten so close to that number on however they've upfitted the van or RV. So I'm talking about bigger RVs, and to where you only have like 300 pounds to work with. I've heard stories that crazy. So technically the vehicle is under the max manufacturer gross vehicle weight rating, but it's so close. Now, that is up here in this top right-hand corner. You guys can see where my mouse is moving. The next line down is going to be your GAWR. So that's going to be your gross axle weight rating. And so what that is that's the maximum weight per axle. If you're ever at a truck stop, you may have seen these things called CAT scales. And so this is how, let's see, CAT scales. There we go. Cat scale. So you may have seen these at a truck stop. And they look like this. They look like three big concrete slabs, but they're actual scales. So they actually have they're electronic scales, and they weigh trucks. So the reason that the trucks have to be weighed is it has to do with their correct me if I'm wrong, but it has to do with the road tax, so like the amount of weight to wear type of thing. So you have to make sure that you're weighing your truck, every time, so that if you get checked, that it's not over what you're saying it is, and that it's safe. I'm not a trucker, but that's just what I've educated myself on. Anyway, so you'll see these scales, and what they have is they have three sections. So they get the front section, the middle, and the rear. So you're going to have the front axle, so it'd be like the steering axle of the semi-truck. The middle is going to be your drive axle, so that's where like the dually wheels are. And then the rear one would be your trailer. And you can kind of see, maybe one of these pictures shows it, but see how there's kind of like three stages? So obviously you guys are not driving a semi-truck, but the reason that I bring this up is because you can get a piece of paper right here, and you can weigh your van before you do your build out. You can get a baseline so that as you build it, you're not going over that number. And so what I did, and we'll just use Thomas's van for example, because I have his forms down here at the bottom. So we're going to go over these in just a second. But this, that gross axle weight, front axle, which would be like your steering axle, and then your rear axle, which would be where your wheels are driven on your van. Now, I know technically if you have all-wheel drive, they're all going, but the front on this Ford Transit behind me is 4,630 pounds. The rear is 5,750 pounds. So right here, front and rear. So what you can do is reference this sticker, and then before you get your build started, where you got like a bare van, go ahead and, one second. Yep. So go ahead. Come on. Let me get out of here. So what you'll do is put those numbers down. So what we've done is put them in here in our little PowerPoint. And let me move this over. Okay, so let's check out Thomas's van. So we know what the manufacturer's spec is for the van. We checked our sticker. So what we do is we take the van empty, and this first, let's see, can you guys see that? So this first one right here, hold on a second, I'm gonna make this bigger. So let's move this one. There. Okay. So we got two measurements here that I want to show you. All right, you guys already know this is cat scale, so I can cover that up. All right, so when you go into, for example, this was the Flying J, like a pilot. You can pretty much go to any truck stop. They're pretty much gonna have a cat scale. They're not everywhere, but I mean, there's a lot of them. So what you're gonna do is you're going to drive up to the scale. There's a little call box right here on the post. You're going to touch the call box, and the guy or girl on the intercom is going to say, what's your number, something like that. And, well, you don't have one because, you're not a trucker. So you just tell them first weight. So first weight, they just put it in the computer as like a new a new vehicle. You can just say, what's the name? You can just say van, or you can say your name. It doesn't matter. And then what they'll do is they'll weigh you, tell you to come in. When you come in, I forgot how much this cost. Oh, here, it's $12, $12.15, 50 cents. But you'll come in, and they'll print this out, and you get to see some pretty cool information. It's simple, but it's very powerful. So what you're going to find is your first axle. Okay, you want to make sure that your van is split. So you want the first axle over the yellow line, and you want your rear axle on the rear or the middle concrete pad to make sure you get both measurements or weighs. So before we started working on Thomas's van, we had 3,620 pounds on his front axle and then 2,940 pounds on his rear axle. And he has a 2020 350 148-inch mid-roof Ford Transit all-wheel drive. And it has the twin-turbo V6. So his gross weight, so those numbers combined, is 6,560 pounds. So we're about 3,000 pounds. We got 3,000 pounds of wiggle room, roughly. So what we do is we build his van out. And we have a couple more things we're adding to his van, but this next slide is going to show you the next way of his van. So we took one in March 26th, and then we took one towards the end. That was 7/14/22. And so before he had a 3,620 pound front axle. So now he has a 740 pound front axle. And so we installed a CA tuned front bumper with a worn winch on the front. The Baja design lights, they're not that heavy. But that bumper was about 120 pounds worth of stuff. And then that also includes, because we did roof rack and stuff like that, but the majority of the front axle is that change. And then if you look at the rear, we went from 2,940 pounds on the rear axle to 3,760 pounds. So I guess I could have done the math before I did this live. So let's just do, 3,760 minus 2,940. So we added 820 pounds to his van. Now this is without the water tank in his van. So since we're all just kind of putting this together, let's do this. Oh, hey, Abby. Thanks for joining the chat. Remember, if you got a van-related question, put it in the chat below. We're not just talking about van weight, even though that's the whole live stream, but we are also answering questions on all kinds of stuff van-related. So if you have a question, put it in the chat. So about 820 pounds worth of items have been put into Thomas's van for the build. And let's go ahead and continue with this. We're going to cheat for a second, and we're going to go from the first slide, second. We're going to go to the third slide, and we're going to talk about weight of water really quick. So 820, let's memorize that. So 820. Then we have a 20-gallon water tank. That's 8.35. So 24 times. So with both of his water tanks filled up, his 4-gallon hot water, his 20-gallon fresh, we got 200.4 more pounds plus the 820 pounds of build out. So now we go to this second one, and instead of 7,500 pounds, we've got about 7,700 pounds. And we're gonna add a little bit more to that. So let's just say probably maybe no more than 100 pounds. So we're at about 7,800 pounds. So we're at 7,800 pounds. And remember, we started with 6,560 pounds. So this is a way to kind of monitor your weight rating. Now, your weight rating on your van, there's all kinds of things that are going to influence this. So these vans come in all different flavors. We have the 150 version, which is my van, which is outside. It's a low roof V6, but the weight capacity has to do with the springs in the rear of the van. So I just have like a single leaf spring. It's a 150 weight rating. You come up, you got the 250. So these numbers, if they sound familiar, they coincide with like a F150, F250, F350, 450, 550. There's all kinds of different ranges for stuff like this. Go and do. Hey, glad to have you back to the stream. Let's see here. Cool. So we're gonna. I'll put that. Let's get this. So check this out. We got a question about tire carrier. So on the back, I'm going to do this. This is Q&A. And check this out. Boom. There you go. So I've got your question in here. Perfect. So we'll just keep this going along, and then when I get through the stream, we'll go to these questions and we'll answer them. And if they kind of fit into what I'm talking about, we'll bring them right into the chat. So now that we've weighed his van, we know what our weight is looking like. We're able to kind of calculate like the water weight. So what I was talking about is like F-150, F-250, 350, like pickup trucks. That's what most people hear. They're familiar with that, like a Ford pickup truck. So the vans are the same thing. So as the 150 number, the 250 number, the 350 number, as that number increases, your load capacity increases in the van. And there's two types of load capacities. And hold on a second, I'm going to zoom in to my face just a little more. There we go. So there's two types of load capacities. Let's see here. Go. Okay, the first one we talked about the van. So we're talking about our gross vehicle weight rating. The second load capacity has to do with if you may have one, you may not, and that's a trailer hitch. So your trailer hitch that's mounted on the rear of your van, there's a bunch of different trailer hitches that you can have. And there's a bunch of different classes of trailer hitch, and that has to do with the capacity that the hitch can handle. And it needs to coincide with what your car, truck, or van is capable with. Luckily, if you get one from the factory, it's technically kind of married up to what your van can do. So just for this example, we're talking about the van behind me, so you guys can get like a real world example. Let's see, I'm going to turn my face off here for just a second. So over here on the right-hand side, we have the sticker that's on the trailer hitch at the rear of this Ford Transit. Typically, you're going to have a bunch of different ranges for your weight on a trailer hitch. And so that is the class of hitch on your van. So right now, this gross vehicle weight rating, keep that paused in your mind for a second. we're going to the trailer hitch, which is different world. So we're actually going to go to Kurt Manufacturing. You guys have seen these tow hitches. They're, again, no affiliation, not sponsored, just get you guys some easy information here. So we're at the Kurt website, and this kind of blew me away. I didn't know that they actually had this stuff organized so well. That's why I'm just referencing it, because it's just easier for you guys. So click on this link, and I'll bring my face back in. So if you look here, we've got classes of hitch on the left. Let's see if I can zoom in just a little bit. Okay, so we got like class 1, 2, 3. And over here, we have GTW and TW. The GTW has to do with the weight of the trailer. Gross trailer weight, I believe, is what GTW is. And then TW is the tongue weight. So this number in this this column right here, the 2,000, 3,500, 8,000, that has to do with how heavy the trailer is. Let me walk that back. I'm going to be very specific about this. It's the trailer cannot weigh more than that. So there's a load capacity on the trailer, and you can't exceed that. So let's say you have a 2,000-pound trailer. Let's say we're talking about class 3. You have a 2,000-pound trailer. That's how much the trailer weighs with nothing in it. Okay, you're cleaning out your house or something, and you load the whole trailer up. You're going to the dump. So the max you can have is like 6,000 pounds on that trailer. And that would be your max towing capacity for the trailer. But remember, so this is where it gets confusing. You have another variable, and that has to do with the tongue weight. So imagine, all right, we're going to go to our drawing board because I like this. And guys, I'm going to come back to your questions. I'm going to keep my stream of thought here. All right, so let's get a trailer drawn. Okay, here's our trailer. We got our wheels, and then we got our trailer hitch. Okay, let's make it an enclosed trailer because we're fancy. We have our ball that's coming out of the. Let's make this our van. This is a terrible drawing. Okay, so this is our van. All right, so here's our van. So the weight that these wheels are experiencing is for our example, let's say this is the max, is 8,000 pounds. Okay? That's how much the trailer's designed to hold, just like that. Now remember, some of this weight, and these calculations are done differently for different trailers, so don't take this completely verbatim, but this is the theory behind how all this stuff is calculated. So a portion of this number is going to be also pushing down here. So that is the tongue. Am I spelling the tongue weight? Where am I? Yeah, T-O-N. Come on, Nick. Come on, engineer. So the tongue weight. So the tongue weight is this weight. So the tongue right here. This part of the hitch. I mean the trailer. This part. Right here. So the weight that this ball and the hitch is experiencing, that force is the tongue weight. So, and I'm oversimplifying this just so I can teach you guys. So this is trailer weight. Okay. So some of this is also pushing down here, right? You guys remember forces right here? We got forces going down, weight. Now, they usually do a percentage of this number here, the tongue weight. So if we look on the computer, you guys will see that, see this class 3? We got 8,000 pounds, but then we have 800 tongue weight. So see how they do that percentage? So this is 800 pounds. I cannot write tonight. Okay, 800 pounds. So we have 800 pounds tongue weight max, and then we have a trailer that can only hold 8,000 pounds max. Now, guess what? This force pushing down here, guess what? It's also affecting the van. So this number has to be taken into consideration when you are loading your van up. So let's say this van had a 95 GVRW. We'd have to subtract the 800 if it was maxed out, and then that would give us our new. So let's see, we got 95, 95. So if you maxed out the tongue, or the tongue weight, your new GVRW would be 8,700 pounds. Okay? Now, with that new number, now start subtracting your build out, your roof rack, your fridge, all that stuff. So let me know if that makes sense. So the reason I wanted to get that theory explained to you guys is because guess what? This is what everyone needs to kind of, I don't want you to worry about it, but just be aware of it, because we are going to go, so go and do. This answers your, this is going to answer your question that you had. So Go and Do's question was, I'd like to put a tire carrier ladder and a spare tire on the back door, but I'm concerned about weight. So this hitch right here is where your tire carrier goes. Okay? It's highly unlikely that I'll get my face in here. 1 second. Video capture. Oh man, that's big. All right. It's highly unlikely that your tire carrier is going to be more than 800 pounds. Okay. That's a big tire. So let's just say there's a range. Typically 500 pounds is a typical hitch for a vehicle. So check this out. So like a class 2 hitch, cars, crossovers, minivans, or like a class 3 hitch, that's pretty normal. 500 to 800 pound tongue weight. So yeah, your tire's not going to be 800 pounds in the back. So the point I'm trying to make is it's actually a good thing. If you're not hauling a trailer, you got a lot of room to work with. 800 pounds to work with on that hitch. So just keep that in mind. So let's just say your hitch was 500 pounds. All I want you guys to be aware of is there's a maximum rating on your Hitch. You can't load up the whole entire world on the back of your van. You can, as long as it doesn't go over that rating. Now, for go and do's question, you're doing a rear tire carrier, which is probably not going to be on the Hitch. But just remember, it doesn't matter if that 800 pounds is on the physical Hitch itself, because the forces on the rear of the van and the rear axle are pretty much, they're very, very close. So I'm going to wrap this up so we don't get too far in the weeds. But that 800 pounds has to come out of your GVRW. All right, so back to the slide. Wait, let's get organized again. So trailer hitch rating. For some reason, Ford calls it a V5. So you guys see right here, it says V5. I don't know why people do that stuff. Because I looked it up. There's no such thing as a V5. There's like a class 5 hitch, but it says it's 16 to 17,000 pounds and like a hitch tongue weight of 2,004. That's not true. I mean, this is true for class 5, but again, this V-5 must be some proprietary Ford thing. Anyway, what we know is, we know over here that the van behind me can pull a trailer that's 7,716 pounds. And the hitch is 772 pounds. So you can see how that's a percentage. They just take the 7716, just move the decimal point, round up 1. That's usually how it's done. So now we know how much we could we could put a hitch of bikes that are 772 pounds, which would be crazy, but we're not doing that. Okay. So let's get back over to the trailer hitch slide. We're going to keep moving here. So the trailer hitch rating, find out what your rating is. It'll tell you what your max trailer you can, come on, Nick. It'll tell you what I'm clicking all kinds of buttons. It'll tell you what your max gross weight is to pull. It'll tell you the tongue weight. And then, like we just said, tongue weight is the downward weight on the hitch ball. This counts against your payload capacity. And then I made this up. Payload equals people. So when it says, sometimes you'll get a cargo rating on your van. It'll say like, this is how much cargo can be on a van. I don't see it on my sticker because, I mean, mine's a cargo van. They just assume that there's nothing in there and you're going to load it up, and they give you a big number to kind of go off of. Actually, that's not true. Let me take a picture. Yeah, I forgot. I got a picture here. This was an important picture. Let's see if I can email it to myself real quick. It's finally warming up here. All right. Okay, I got that emailed. Let me put this back in my face so you guys can't see my email. That would be nice. Nope, wrong email. right, so here we go. All right, so this is what I wanted to show you guys. So this right here on the right-hand side, this is your tire and loading information. So this is the next part that we're going to talk about. So let me pause 1 second. Okay. So to keep you guys organized, we talked about gross vehicle weight rating. We talked about trailer hitch. Now I'm landing on payload, people, cargo. It's pretty much the same thing. So this is also what subtracts from your gross vehicle weight rating. So gross vehicle weight rating is first. Then whatever your tongue weight, if you have anything on your trailer, if you're pulling a trailer or you have a bike rack or a storage box, any type of weight that also takes away from the gross vehicle weight rating. And last but not least, we have your cargo or people. So if you look inside your door, there's two things inside your door. There's this little barcode thing, sticker, and then above that sticker, you'll have one of these tire and loading information stickers. Even more information that you probably didn't know existed. So this right here, it says the combined weight of occupants and cargo should never exceed 3,574 pounds. So if you saw that, you'd be like, okay, all right, that's people and cargo. But now I've taught you how that number gets created. So if you look at the first sticker, that 9,500 pounds first, then you go and you subtract your tongue weight, if you have any. You'll get to this number, but it'll be a more accurate number for your case, because Ford is just assuming that you don't have anything in the van at this point. They don't know that you have a refrigerator, or, water tank, all that kind of stuff. So now, since you're building a van out, you technically can't reference this number because it doesn't mean anything. Now, this tire and loading information chart does mean a lot more. If we're going to talk about tires next. So van weight, keeping your cargo and everything, the weight understood, that would be the number one thing, that you're not overweight, because that's dangerous, get in an accident, or you try to avoid something and you've got all that extra weight, your vehicle dynamics are going to be, it's going to feel the van's going to feel different if you haven't had to make like an abrupt maneuver or like an emergency maneuver. So we're moving on. So we're done with this first slide, and now we're going to be talking about tires. So you guys can pause it on the screen if you want to take a picture of this or anything just to get this information. But hey, the live stream will be up for forever, so you can just come back and reference it. But now we're going to go into tires. So tires are the second thing. So this sticker right here was a perfect segue. Not sure why I didn't have it before. Okay, tires are what connect you to the road. All the way to the van, your whole build out, everything is on your tires. So it's extremely important that you understand the load rating of your tire. Because there's been situations that I've been aware of where I used to work in a tire shop. I used to change tires, used to change oil. I did that when I was in college for 2 summers. And I worked at Advanced Auto Parts another summer. You can kind of see that I enjoy all this stuff. So I've got a lot of good experience just on hands-on on stuff like this. Well, when a tire is manufactured for a vehicle, there's a lot of things that go into it. The load rating and speed rating are probably like the number one things of the tire. The speed rating has to do with the tire not exploding when you go 80 miles an hour on the highway and the car weighs so many thousand pounds. There's a formula that nice, James, thanks. There's a formula to make sure that doesn't happen. Engineering Explained, if you guys know his channel, he let's see here. Here we go. He did this video, okay? Everything you need to know about electric cars. In this video, he explains how incredible like a tire for an electric vehicle is, because an EV is way heavier than a regular car. The batteries weigh so much. Not only that, the car is more quiet. So, all these things don't actually play well together. So he's explaining this. This is a great video. You guys should definitely watch it. But he explains how the tire manufacturer makes a tire that can withstand all the weight. It's quiet. It gets good tire life, and like the PSIs and stuff like that. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but watch this video because he does a really good job at explaining the mechanics of a tire. So, I mean, he really dives into this stuff. So if you guys want to nerd out on how all this stuff that I'm talking about actually relates in more detail, check out that video. It's Engineering Explained. He's talking about tire stuff. Anyway, so let's talk about load capacity, and we'll also talk about speed rating. Speed rating is not that important because typically when you build out, I mean, you're really not going to be driving over 75, 80 miles an hour because, I mean, you're already getting terrible gas mileage as it is. I know this. So let's check this out. So let's talk about load index. And we're going to go to tire rack. So tire rack, we're going to use it for our explanation tonight. Get distracted here. All right, so load index. On the side of your tire, there's a bunch of numbers. You probably have no idea what they are, but they have to do with the aspects of your tire that need to be matched in order for that tire to fit on your particular vehicle. So in this case, we have P195/60R1587S. You'll see this on your car. P designates the class. So P, for example, would be passenger tire. On these Transits, they don't have a P designation because that's usually for lower, like passenger car tires. LT, right here, light trucks. So if you see an LT 195, that would be like a light truck tire. But the passenger or light truck, it's important, but it's not the end of the world because it has to do with like the reinforcement of the tire. The main thing that we want to talk about is E-load. We are going to talk about that pretty seriously. So what we have here is after the P, we have 195. So 195 is the width of the tire. So we're going to go over and draw this. Okay, so we have a tire. Okay, it's kind of a lopsided tire. Anyway, the uh, the first number is the section width. So for our example, I'm going to put in the 195. So that 195 is this. See 195 right here? 195. That is, oh geez, that is the width. Now you have, remember this is a tire, so technically the rim is in between here, right? So the next number is the aspect ratio. Some people kind of call it the thickness of the tire. But it is a ratio because it's not like a fixed number. Technically, this 195 does mean something. Like I think it's, I guess what? I think it's millimeters. Anyway, getting too far here. So the 195 is the width. 60 is the thickness of that side. So if I drew a side view, it is this. Kind of that thickness. Hold on one second. All right, so let's get to our next number. So the next number here is the R. So that is the rim. So that'd be like your diameter of your rim. And that is here. So like R15 in this example. It's a 15-inch rim. And then we got 87. And so 87 is the tire's load index. So that's what we've been going for. So if you go on this chart, you'll see that it's 1,201 pounds. That's how much a single tire with this 195, 60, 15, 87 can withstand per tire. So quick math, that is what, 4,800 pounds, 804 technically. But as you notice, our van is 9,500 pounds max. So obviously this is not the tire for our van. S is the speed rating, but I didn't pull up that chart. Yeah, we're not going to worry about the speed rating. Because when you get to the heavy-duty E-load tires, which are on the Ford Transits, that's pretty much just going to come with the territory of an E-load tire. All right. So we talked about load index. I know it's kind of boring, but it's important for safety. And the reason is E-load rated tires, these vans are so heavy that an E-load rated tire is extremely important for, it's very important. So they come from the factory as an E-load. The D-load tire, let's pull up these two examples. All right, let me pause for a second and check out the chat here. Yeah, 1/137, perfect. Yep, keep all that stuff up in the cabinets light. Yeah, try to get that center of gravity just as low as possible. Absolutely. All right, so back to the tires. So as far as safety goes, everything is on your tires. I came upon this when I was working on Thomas's van, and the tires that were the rim offset that he had, I don't believe allowed the E-load tire to be put on, but there was a D-load tire purchased on his van. Now it works because the weight of his van is not that heavy. However, an E-load tire is what is recommended from Ford. So I have two examples here. I've got a 255/70/16, which is technically the widest tire you can fit factory on the 16-inch rim of a Ford Transit. It's a 152, 50, 350, doesn't matter. As long as it's not the non-dually version, that is the biggest size that'll fit. And then I have the 245/70/16, which is the one that was purchased, or which was the one that was on his van. I think it might be a 17-inch rim. However, that doesn't matter. All right, let's look at these two examples. Hopefully this link will work. All right, perfect. All right, so we have this tire. We've got the BFG All-Terrain KO2. And let's see if I can get fancy with this monitor here. We got this one, and then we got this one. Okay, so we're going to pull both of these aside. We're going to pull our... heck yeah. There you go. Look at that. All right. So let me make my face small here. Okay, we have two van tires. The one on the left is the biggest one you can fit factory with no modifications, technically. On the right is a little bit skinnier tire. Both look the same. One's a little bit skinnier. They both have the same aspect ratio as far as thickness, you would say. But there's one big difference, and that is the load range. The one on the left has a load range of E, which is what is factory replacement load rating for the Ford Transit. The one on the right is load range D, which is not. I'll explain further. Load range E, okay, as you get bigger tires on a van, okay, let's just say you got a passenger car or something like that, or like a trailer tire. Usually that's anywhere from like 35 to 50 psi. Maybe like 65 psi, something along those ranges. But when you have something upwards that has a potential capacity of like 9,500 pounds, so let's just do the math really quick on that. So let's say you maxed out your gross weight on your van. 9,500 divided by 4 wheels. That means each tire has to withstand 2,375 pounds worth of force on them. Now, you can build a tire that is like hard as a stone and maybe doesn't have that much PSI, but the more weight that a tire has to withstand, you need to increase the PSI, pressure per square inch, in order to hold up that weight. So if we go back to the computer here, you'll notice the load range E, max load, 3,085 pounds. So you notice this tire, that's how you know that this tire is safe. We got 3,085 pounds per tire. If you remember, I just did the math. 9,500 is 2,375 pounds per tire. So we've got a difference there of, what is that? What, like 700 pounds, 710 pounds, something like that. So we've got a wiggle room of 700 pounds per tire. Pretty good. All right. That means we're in safe zone. But notice it says max PSI of 80 PSI. Now, Ford Transit has the tire pressure, the TPMS, tire pressure monitoring sensors. Now, they are happy if you have a tire that's correctly put on your van and that has and can withstand 80 psi. The sensor's happy. It's like, you know what? He's got it filled up to 80 psi. I'm happy. I'm not going to alarm and tell him that the tires are low. But guess what? If you get a load range D, check this out. We go from 3,085 pound capacity at 80 psi, and now we go all the way down to 2,535 pounds at 65 psi. So two things are going to happen. Remember, let me pull my window up here. Remember, if we are maxed out on our weight, we're at 2,375 pounds. If we buy a deload tire, look how close we're pushing it. 2,375 pounds, 2,535 pounds. So our margin of error, our margin of safety is very thin. Not to mention the 65 psi is our tire pressure monitoring sensors are gonna start to go off because we can't fill the tire up more than 65 psi. 65 psi is the highest that we can fill the tire up. So that is the difference. Now, the reason I brought this up safety-wise is, let's say that you went to a tire shop and they're going to put some tires on your van and you have no clue about, you just don't know about tires. You haven't watched Nick's video on van safety. And you go there and they say, oh, we don't have a 255/70/16 in stock, but we do have a 245 whatever. We don't have an E load, but we have a D load. And I think you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Technically, on paper, yes, you'll be fine, but you're going to have to make sure that you did not overload your van, which overload your tires because the tires were the wrong load range. If that makes sense. So when you go to buy tires in the future, look here. Make sure you look on your van and you look at the sticker in the door. And right here, do you see this? Front 235/65R16C 121/119R. Make sure that whatever tire place you go to is replacing your tire with the correct load range. Now, this does not say the load range. I'm not sure why it doesn't, but if I went down at the bottom of this van, it's going to tell me that it's an E-load tire, and that's the range. All right. I think we have talked about tires enough, but hopefully that helped you with the tire portion of this. Just know that just because the tire looks the same doesn't mean it is rated the same for safety, rated to withstand the amount of weight you're going to put in your van. So I'm going to give you guys one more, before we get to our last slide, we're going to talk about some online tools that you can use. One, it's Tire Size Calculator. So I love this website. Again, no affiliation, but this site's really cool because let's say you are looking at your sticker of your van and your sticker says 235/65R16. So you go in the tire size, you go to tire comparison, click on that, and then put that in 235/65/16. All right. So that number comes from this sticker, 235/65R16. So you put that number in. All right. Then you go to size 2. So if you wanted to go with a bigger tire for your van, this is going to tell you how different. They're going to give you a rough visual of what it's going to look like visually different, and then they'll actually give you a measurement of how much wider and taller the tire is. So for this case, let's go and we'll just do like a +1. So like a +1 on tire size would be going from a 235 to a 245. And then we're going to go from a 65 and we're going to go up to a 70. And then we have to keep the same rim unless we're buying a different rim. So once we put these two things in, we can click compare. And on the right here, we see that tire 1 is our factory tire. Tire 2 is our bigger tire that we wanted to put on our van. To show off, right? So we got our bigger tire. But at the bottom, now we can see that our original is 9.3 inches wide and 9.6 is the next one. So we didn't actually go that much wider. So that's going to help with the functionality, turning, brake caliper clearance, shock clearance, all that stuff. But notice we actually gained 1.5 inches in ride height, which is pretty awesome. Look at that. Went from 28 inches to 29.5. Actually, I take that back. That'd be like 0.75 inches because we got to split it. But almost 1 inch higher, 3/4 of an inch. And then if we went over to that max size that I was telling you about, 255 70/16, check that out. We go from 9.3 inches to 10 inches wide, 28 inches to 30 inches. All right. So now let's pop back over here. And we talked about tires. We talked about some tools for tire size calculator. All right. Now we're going to talk about our final slide. So guys, if you're watching, got some questions, go ahead and put those in the chat. Be happy to answer those questions as we keep streaming here. So we talked about gross vehicle weight. We talked about tires, how those can be unsafe if the load range is not correct. So now we're going to talk about how all this stuff kind of comes together. So the question I have for you guys is, what items have you installed on your camper van that you really haven't thought of, being a big deal? Have you built your whole entire van out of wood, aluminum, 80/20? Do you have steel? And not only that, how is that weight distributed? So weight distribution, so 1/173, or 1/137, sorry. They were saying center of gravity as low as possible is safer, and that's 100% true. So let's go to our drawing pad here, and we're going to look at the inside of our van. And there's a couple things. We got our water tank, we got our power system, and then we've got our roof rack. We've got cabinet storage. Maybe we have 2 cabinets. So there's this thing called, it's like the center of gravity triangle. I couldn't find like a technical term for it. But basically, it has to do with, it's a triangle that displays like kind of like your teeter-tottering or whatever. So like the wider a van would be, the more stable it would be. But unfortunate for us, vans are usually a specific width, not any wider. You could get wider rims or tires or stuff like that, but yeah, pretty standard. Now, where you can affect that is how high up you go. All right. So in a perfect world, you would have um, like a low center of gravity. All right. The triangle would be like this. It'd be very kind of equal. All right. And so that would give you your best center of gravity because nothing would be like above this top line. So when you're building a van, the bonuses are, you have your water tank over here. So that's nice and low. You got your power system over here. So that's pretty nice and low. Not only that, but they're probably over the axle. So that's nice and stable. So that is not too much of a worry. What would be a worry is if you have your power over here and your water over here, and your water is empty versus full. Empty, you're going to, obviously power's going to be the heavier side. But really, at the end of the day, if you fill your water tank up and you have a pretty beefy power system, they're probably going to be around the same. Remember, 20-gallon tank is approximately 20-gallon tank is 167 pounds. Your power system, it's pretty close to that. So not too worried about water or power. What does become a concern, and you can actually feel it in the steering wheel when you drive, are those upper systems. So when you start to add your upper cabinets, when you start to fill those cabinets up with gear, and then the big one is the roof rack, solar panels, vent fan. So this up here, this is where you're going to have this most significant player of the whole game. So roof rack companies, they make them out of aluminum. They do their best. But then what we do, and you guys as DIYers too, is, man, we want to put all the vent fans up there. We want to put solar up there. And you know what? We actually might even put a big, heavy AC unit. Now, let's talk about the roofs of Ford Transits. And I'm going to try to put this back in my face for a second. All right, guys, those in the stream, questions, put those in the chat while I look up these the Ford Transit. I had a number for the maximum roof weight. And I'm just going through a forum. I've found a whole chart that does this, but essentially the quick answer is right here. About 8 bounty points and about essentially 560 pounds of weight on the roof rack, or on the roof. So 560 pounds is about all you get. So if you start to put together, your roof rack, your panels, the max fans they're pretty light, so I wouldn't really worry about that. But then like an AC unit especially, I mean, you've almost already surpassed the safe limit. So it's not that nobody does this. A lot of people do, but it's just something to be conscious of. So maybe if you do go over that limit, you're just a little bit more careful with driving. You understand the kind of the dynamics of your vehicle, and you're not pushing stuff to the limit when you're driving. And that's pretty much what I'm talking about is, distribution of weight, be aware of how that's distributed. So if you have a lot of stuff on your roof rack, just know that you're going to have to look ahead when you're driving. You're not going to be able to just like swerve out of the middle of traffic to try to avoid something, unfortunately. You're just going to have to be conscious of that. The example of the water tank, that was just to show you, that was just kind of like a wake-up moment of, oh, wow, a gallon of water is 8.35 pounds. That's a lot. I mean, if you've got a 40-gallon water tank, which is going in the van behind me, that's 334 pounds. So something to think about. And remember, like we did on the cat scales. So remember these guys? That was the van weight. That's your build-out weight, your cargo weight, passenger load. All that is riding on those 4 tires. And I put this just down here briefly, brake maintenance. So remember, it's good to get going where you're going, but if you can't stop, that's another thing. Just make sure your brakes are in good condition. The roof rack weight, we actually already talked about that. So we just drew this up here, talked about roof rack weight, and talking about the center of gravity, stuff like that. And, yep, guys, so I'm going to go over the safe driving tips, and then going to answer any more questions that come through the chat. So if you haven't got a chance to ask a question, go ahead and pop in those questions. Safe driving tips. So these are just a checklist I put together. So tire pressure. It doesn't matter what the load capacity of your tires are. If you don't have enough air in them, they are not going to be rated to that weight. So that is a fun fact. Guys that air down their tires to go like off-roading and stuff like that, you're decreasing that capacity. So make sure that your tires are at the appropriate air pressure before you got on a long trip. Double check your brakes. Make sure everything's in good working order. One thing everybody forgets about is securing cargo. You don't know about drawers opening up, silverware flying all over the place, cabinets opening up, until you go around that corner and all your stuff falls out of your van cabinets. So make sure cargo's secured, things are latched, stuff like that. If you still have enough weight capacity to pull a trailer, make sure the trailer is secured. Make sure those safety hooks are connected. Double check, just do some quick math to make sure you're not overloading your hitch, that you're not overloading your trailer or your van altogether. And last but not least, verify you're not over your GVWR of your van. A lot of manufacturers that have upfitted vans, they get that number really, really close because they want everything to look really nice inside. They're putting a lot of materials in there, and I mean they're pushing the limits really close to where if you do the math and go on paper, you'll notice there's very little room of stuff that you can add to the van. So just be aware of that. I'm going to spend a couple minutes just going through these slides, kind of cleaning up the computer here, getting ready to sign off for today's live stream. And before I do that, let's hop on over here. So we're going to head over to my business, Odyssey Custom Vans. So if you guys are looking to get a professional van build completed, check out Odyssey Custom Vans. So this is my personal site. This is where the vans that come in the shop are worked on. And if you guys want to do a build, click on the contact page, put in your name, last name, email, phone number, and then in message, tell me your story. Tell me what you're looking for to do. If you're going to do overlanding or you want to do more like the van life, kind of like parks, stuff like that, tell me your story. Why are you getting out there? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to travel? And love to sit down, have that conversation with you on the phone, and put together a plan to build your dream van. So odysseycustomvans.com, click on the contact form, and be happy to work with you. All right, guys, we talked about van weight, keeping it safe. We covered a lot of technical stuff here, so that's the cool thing about live streams. You can just rewind it, go back through the whole entire thing. But You can't put everything on the van, but you can get really close. So just always remember that there is a maximum number. There's a ceiling that you're going to hit after you do all those add-ons on your van. And that's just to keep you safe. That's how the van was structurally designed by the engineers. And it's really good to just adhere to that number. Remember, that number can be found inside your door jamb of the driver's side door. You're looking for GVWR, and that'll tell you everything you need to know. Last but not least, tire and loading information, very important. If you are oversizing your tires and you are upgrading, make sure you're not focused on the price. Lower weight rating tires are a little bit cheaper. And before I really commit to that, let me just double check here. These are, at the current moment, $248. They may be the same amount. Let's see here. Oh, it's actually opposite. I'm going to walk that back. But I would still be, sometimes they are different. So just be careful, all right? Be careful about the load range of your tire. Make sure that just because a tire looks the same does not mean it's rated for a certain load capacity. Make sure the person that you're buying the tire from can show you that that tire that you're wanting to upgrade to or put on your van it's going to be able to withstand the weight of your van and your build out. Just remember that. All right, guys. Oh, yeah, that's Nova. She's the shop dog. She's pretty good. All right, guys, it's time for Q&A. So if you've got a question, put it in the chat. We'll just leave this open here for a minute. Let's talk about some questions. So I'm just going to go back through and go and do the tire carrier. I'm going to show you some stuff that I recommend. So this company makes expensive products, but they're pretty much kind of like the go-to, I would say. It's a Luminous Products. And if you go here, you may have already been to this website. But if we go to Ford Transit, and let's hit up the 2020 Plus, and we're going to go to rear door tire rack. So this guy. It's crazy how these prices have gone up, because I think October last year this was $1,100. Now it's $1,295. So if you're in the market to buy some of this stuff, it's probably steadily going to go up throughout the year. So if you're set on getting a tire rack or something, it might be good to go ahead and purchase it. But I like Luminous because it's kind of, I say this in a good way. It's kind of like a no frills tire carrier. It's very clean, sleek. And not only can you put a tire on it, but you can also put a rear box if you don't change your tires. Now, the only reason that you would need a tire, well, there's a couple reasons that you would want to get a rear tire carrier. One is just for the sole fact of when you plus size or increase the size of your tire. Say you wanted to go with that 255/70/16. That's not going to fit underneath where your spare tire carrier is, and you won't be able to use that. So that's why you have to, when you upgrade, get a fifth tire as your spare and put it on the back of your van. The other reason you might want it is because it looks cool. And then the last reason would be, hey, I want to have a little bit more storage, and I want to have a storage box in the back. The next one would be Owl Vans. So Ford Transit Owl Vans. Yes, go and do. I do do consults over the phone. So go to Odyssey Custom Vans, go to the website, click on contact, put your information in there, and then that way I can just have it in my files for contacting you, and we can talk about, price, hours, stuff like that. Kind of like the packages I put together, because some people actually, maybe this is you, for example. They're just wanting to sit down and have like a proposal and advice done for their potential build. So it's actually not me doing it. It would be more for like just laying out the groundwork to kind of get going. And then if we did want to work together, that would be great. But yeah, do both things. And yep, give me that information and we can talk details on the phone. But Owl Vans, they have, where's the rear carrier? So Owl Gear. Okay, I think the reason that I don't go to Owl is because Ford Transit's coming along. There's a lot of stuff happening. But right now, Sprinter has a lot of selection. But I have to tell you, from a build standpoint, I really like the foundation of the Ford Transit, the all-wheel drive system. It's more the reason everybody liked the Sprinter van is because it had like an old school differential type kind of raw four-wheel drive system, whereas the Ford Transit all-wheel drive, there's a difference between four-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive gives you the potential to physically lock all four wheels. What that means is all four wheels are turning. Now, you would say, well, Nick, all-wheel drive means all wheels drive. Well, that's technically they do. So technically, all-wheel drive is two wheels turning, and the differential will transfer that to opposite wheels. So now there's some traction control management technology in there that allows it to be more robust. But at the end of the day, people like the old Sprinters because it was that hardcore lockable four-wheel drive, like locking hubs type of thing. The Ford Transit is a little bit more, it's an all-wheel drive system. It's the easiest way to explain it. However, interesting news, the new Sprinters coming out, I believe, have an all-wheel drive system, and you can't get the old school four-wheel drive locking hubs anymore. So they're actually matching the Ford Transit, and that's kind of where I was talking about how Ford is, I don't know, maybe a little bit superior at the current moment. But that would be a difference. But yeah, tire carriers, but Illuminous, if you have a Ford Transit, go and do you have a Ford Transit or do you have a van currently? Tell me what van you're working with. All right, let's get to John here. Okay, John, I have a video of me replacing my rotors and pads on my Ford Transit. And yeah, it's in the archive. So I need to get that video edited because, oh guys, it's wild. If you have to do a rear brake job on these vans, believe it or not, you actually have, if you need to turn the rotors, I wouldn't even, it's worthless to turn rotors. Just buy more rotors. But to replace the rotor, you have to pull the axle out. It is wild. So John, you don't have to drop the axle, but you do have to literally pull the axle out of each side. It's not as messy as I thought it would be because when I jacked the van up, So I do a lift on one side. That differential fluid drains into the differential, and then when I pull the axle out, it really didn't drip hardly anything. It's actually not that bad, as they say it is. But I will tell you, it's 100% something you could do at home if you wanted to. I bet they charge like crazy at the dealership. But yeah, don't turn the rotors. Just go to Rock Auto, buy new rotors. It's not that expensive. The brake pads, same thing. I just go to Rock Auto. I don't think it's more than like $200 or something like that. It's if you're doing it yourself, it's not that bad. So actually, I might do you know what? I'm gonna do that in a future live stream. I will do commentary on me doing the rear brake replacement on the Ford Transit. I literally just got the parts in to do the front brakes on my Ford Transit, so I think that'll be a good. What am I trying to say? Good video. Yeah. All right. Ford Transit all-wheel drive EcoBoost extended. Man, I'm jealous. Yeah, extended. Man, that's an awesome van. That will be an awesome van. Heck yeah. Yep. Yeah, go and do. Definitely fill out that contact form on the website. I'm just going to drop the link here for you just so you can easily click on it. And we'll talk about your upcoming van build. That's really exciting. Yeah. I think if I could go back and do it, these would be the extended because I'm having an issue with the bed design. Right now it's a short full for the mattress size, which is for me that's fine in a van because the utility of being able to heat something up, cook, wash your hands, refrigerator, all that stuff. To me, that's I can go with having a smaller area to sleep in. But a short full, that's good for camping. Because a full queen size bed, that's a lot of. I mean, the real estate is very expensive in a van, so. No, that's exciting. But yeah, the brake video, that'd be cool to walk you guys through. It's not that scary. And then so go and do what type of traveling are you let's see, I think yesterday was that nursing? Is that what I had yesterday? Yeah, I didn't put the comments in. Where is? All right, I know we got a couple people watching, so if you guys have a question on van building, put that in the chat. We'll go here on to another topic. We pretty much covered, being safe as far as the van goes. Let me hear about your builds. So if anybody's watching, they're doing a DIY build or they got a van on the way, let me know about what you're looking forward to putting in your van. Or if there's something on top of your mind, you got a question on as far as what to do. Here to answer questions. That's right, travel nurse. Yep. I mean, if you got the extended coming, I mean that is, yeah, you're gonna enjoy that because I mean you can do pretty much the best of all worlds. You know, you can have good sized bed, you can have the shower inside. You've still got room for like a dinette. You know, good size area for like refrigerator placement. Um, and the good thing about the newer Fords, so for example, this Ford is a 2020. The Ford over here, that one is a 2021. So there's a difference. The difference between them is the parking brake. The 2021 is deleted from the floor, so it's not in the way when you go to move the swivel seats. Um, but the 2020 unfortunately has the big handbrake, and you have to install a handbrake lowering kit to where you have to unbolt it and stuff like that. So if you did want the swivel seats in the front of the van, this one has to be modified a little bit more. So that's just kind of goes with the territory. But yeah, if you're getting a new one, that's gonna be really cool, especially extended for sure. Yeah, but definitely if you want to chat van details, click on that link, fill out that contact form, and yeah, we'll hop on a call. I'd be happy to help you out with that. And we're looking at a couple new topics coming down the line. Let's see here what we got. So I do want to do a camper van solar system. So just a basic solar system setup with a charge controller. You know, kind of like what we did with the light switch, but much better. That one was a little. That one got a little technical. It was supposed to be a simpler live stream about how to turn a light bulb on, but it turned into Bluetooth systems and wire gauge and all this stuff. So the camper van solar power system, I think that's something that everybody can benefit from. Because solar power is very it's very simple. It looks intimidating, but it's very simple. Um, van conversion walls. So the van behind me, I'll probably be doing. I'll be actually converting the adventure wagon walls because I need to have. I need to have a like command center with all the switches and gauges because I'm probably not doing a red arc system in this van because the bill of materials for this van has already been purchased a couple months ago. That was before I found out how much I liked the red arc system. So I've got a Sea Marine interface, digital interface. Kind of looks like the Victron dashboard. And then I have the Renogy 3000 watt inverter charger and some other components. So that'll be going on in that. Let's see here. So van cabinets, we can go through the van cabinets in Thomas's van when it comes up. So guys, prepare yourself for next week because when his van comes in, we'll be doing multiple live streams on all the parts of his van because it's about 95% complete. Essentially what I'm doing is I've got a couple more panels to upholster. I want to clean up some wiring. We're going to upholster with some 4-way stretch fabric some of the metal parts that are still showing in his van because just to warm it up a little bit. It doesn't do that big of a deal, but getting a soft touch versus that cold steel, it at least makes you feel warmer. Like if you accidentally bump up against it type of thing. So we're going to be doing that. And then we have an ARB air compressor at the back of the van. And we want to start talking about hard lining that into the van build itself. I think he's going to be getting a rear bumper that has a quick connect fitting location port for the air compressor. So all kinds of cool stuff coming down the line. And then we're going to try to do a hidden shore power plug. So a hidden waterproof shore power plug underneath the passenger rear axle area. Still working on how that's going to be mounted, but yeah, we got that going on. But as far as the van's going to be really cool. So it'll be parked. This van will go outside and be put on pause for a couple weeks. Get his van done. It's going to come back in. And then let's see what else is going to happen. But it's this last week or so, I've just been pretty much organizing the shop, getting ready for that. We'll be replacing the shunt for his power system. Some clearances got in the way and kind of nicked one of the communication cables, so we're going to relocate that charger. We'll put in the new shunt when it comes from Red Arc Electronics. So I'll show you guys. The power system is pretty. It's a robust power system. We ran out of wireless control ports on the Red Arc system, which is 10. So Red Arc has an app, and you can have 10 wirelessly Bluetooth controlled on-off switches. And we added another 6 because he just has so many fun gadgets in the van. But yeah, really, really, really good. Excited for that to come through. All right, guys, I got about 15 minutes before I got to head out of here, so let's get some questions going through. I know we got a couple more people on the stream tonight. Let's see what we got right now. Yeah, we got a couple people out there. Yeah, but his van will be picked up Tuesday. So there won't be a stream. There won't be a live stream on Monday and Tuesday next week. We'll kick off Wednesday. and it'll obviously be on his van. We're going to do as many streams about his van, get as much content to you guys out there as possible. Because not only is it really like a one-off build, but I mean, it's definitely a special build. It is something I'm really proud of. I want to show you guys the ceiling. The ceiling of the van is awesome. So if you've seen Adventure Van Expo with that slatted roof ceiling with like the frosted LEDs in the ceiling, pretty cool. All right, guys. I don't see any questions coming in, so we're going to go ahead and end the stream tonight. Oh, here we go. We got perfect, John. Awesome. Yeah, remember, we're here. We're going to be doing this live stream pretty much every weekday night, 8 p.m. I might be leaving early tomorrow afternoon, so I'm going to try to see if I can sneak in a live stream, but the next one might be next Wednesday. Yeah, go and do. Click that link. Be happy to talk to you on the phone. Yeah, click on that. Get that contact info, and yeah, definitely would look forward to speaking with you, help you out on your van progress. Yeah, guys, so let's plan on next Wednesday officially. It'll be Thomas's Vans, and we'll be knocking out that content. Yeah, that'll be awesome. But guys, that is going to do it for the stream tonight. Look forward to next week. Everybody have a great weekend, and yeah, keep those comments going even when the stream's over on different videos. Definitely helps kind of lay the foundation for more future streams, more videos, answering questions, helping you guys out. That's what I'm here for. So we will see you guys in the next live stream.